Hello everyone! Something legendary is going to happen today. Finally, a month later, the 26th episode of Skibidi Multiverse from the author of No Skill Clutch was released. And this time, the wait was definitely worth it. And this episode is the longest in the entire history of the series. It is filled with a huge number of plot twists and secrets that you will definitely like. And also, the brother pleased us with the excellent animation quality, which even Boom himself can be jealous of. And lately, I've been spending a lot of time trying to make you happy with new analyses, and what I'm going to tell you today is absolutely secret, and no one but me on YouTube knows about it. But before I tell you the whole truth, let me ask you to subscribe to this channel and help me reach 100,000 subscribers. This is my main dream. And if you help me with this, I will make a special video for you that will simply make your brain explode. Well, if you're really ready to see the first appearance of PLUNGERMAN and find out why he didn't shake the hand of the cameraman with a hammer, then put all your business aside for the next 10 minutes and trust me. What exactly did Astraman tell the Titans from the future? And is it true that they are going to take over this multiverse? Where did PLUNGERMAN actually go in the middle of the episode? Where is the Alliance heading in this episode, and who got in their way? Get your tea and snacks ready and prepare to watch this video to the end because I saved the best part for later, just as always. Let's go! Well, as you know, the work on this episode lasted more than a month, and for such a long time you could forget how the Alliance actually ended up in this creepy place. So let me quickly refresh your memory in 1 minute and remind you what so important happened in the last episode. It all started when the POV and the cameraman squad flew over the destroyed city. The guys patrolled and tried to clean it from the remaining skibidimen. But suddenly, several freaks got in their way who began to destroy the poor fellows' helicopters one by one. The pilot of the ship on which the POV was located turned out to be a real Vin Diesel in the world of helicopters, so he managed to dodge several missiles. Fortunately, reinforcements arrived quickly enough in the person of Titan Cameraman from the future, who with the help of his new hammer easily saved our butts and destroyed the Skibidimen. And it looked like that now you could finally relax. But the problems only began when none other than G-Man himself appeared on the screen. But the dude did nothing important, and just destroyed several buildings and then cowardly escaped. And this is pretty understandable because another Titan from the future has already arrived in here in the face of Titan Speakerman. In any case, an elite squad of Skibidi men immediately arrived to replace Jimmy, who tried to cause serious problems for Chad. But the freaks turned out to be real weaklings, and Titan was easily able to send each of them to a better world. Two brothers were preparing to celebrate this victory by going to a bar, but another problem appeared on their way in the face of Skibidi SWAT. This dude turned out to be strong enough and even managed to withstand several attacks, but when the new hammer of TCM 2099 came into play, his opponent immediately went epically to the bottom of the ocean to feed the fish. And maybe this episode might have seemed boring to you, and I can actually understand that, but still it showed us one important thing, namely the fact that Skibidimen and Skibidi toilets from the original series have merged, and now all new types of Skibidi toilets are being created specifically with several platforms so that Skibidimen can stand on them. Like, for example, this dude with a machine gun. And their unification is a serious problem for the Alliance, which now has twice as many enemies eager to seize power on Earth. And at the end of the episode, Cameraman holds out a tablet with a countdown to a special operation called Skibidi UC. UC is the abbreviated name of Upgrade Center, which was marked on the map with a red cross at the end of the 24th episode. And we saw exactly the same countdown tablet in the secret scene of the 7th season. Apparently, the new episode will be a continuation of what we saw here, but on behalf of another cameraman, and it looks like the Alliance squad is already very close to the place marked on the map, and also based on the huge amount of explosives, the guys are already ready to storm and are about to cause just a huge explosion. Well, now that your memory has been refreshed, let's see what difficulties the Alliance will face on the way to the Skibidi Upgrade Center in the new 26th episode, which is already on your screens. We continue our journey to the Skibidi base, and at the very beginning we see several captured Skibidimen and several cameramen, one of whom is holding something like a tablet in his hands, and it seems that he is recording something. Due to the low quality, it is very difficult to say exactly what is written there, but perhaps he records the number of caught freaks in order to try to cure them in the future. I do not really know. After that, the POV turns his head, and we see a large camera toilet. And apparently we see this episode from the face of the same toilet using rockets, and very soon you will be convinced of this. Well, there are troubles along the way, and two huge skibidimen hunt us down, and they even manage to destroy several poor fellows. It looks like one of them uses something like a wrench, while the second uses a powerful cannon similar to a smaller version of the Titan speakerman weapon. The POV pulls out his rocket launchers, but for some reason does not shoot. This slowness can cost him his life. But fortunately, our ass is covered by none other than cameraman with a hammer. Blood has new improvements, and with the help of a huge shield, he blocks this shot. Finally, the POV and large camera toilet came out of hibernation, and after taking a couple of shots, they easily destroyed the jerks. One of them even showed us a very inappropriate gesture to kiss us goodbye, and I'm sure he deserved a portion of lead for it. Well, my favorite Chad turns around and shows the POV his improvements. His hand was completely replaced with a mechanical one, and he was also given this shield as a gift. And if you slow down this moment, you can see an inscription on it. I'm not entirely sure, but it looks as if something like EDI military research is being written here. Perhaps this is the name of the organization that helped and improved the little bro with the help of creating a new arm for him after he lost it in the 21st episode. Well, the legend is back now, but the problems are just starting to rise, because a plane is flying over the bridge while dropping missiles. Fortunately, the explosion does not get close to the POV, and for such impudence, the Alliance's helicopter is already flying to a romantic meeting with a scoundrel on which you can notice red barrels. And I'm sure that this is a reference to the Skibidi Kamikaze from the 65th episode of the original series, which used exactly the same barrels to destroy the trapped Titans. Okay, the plan actually works, and two planes collide into each other. And at first I felt sorry for the guy sitting in the camera helicopter, because this hero sacrificed his life for us. But as it turned out, the pilot himself was PLUNGERMAN, and a couple of seconds before the explosion, you can see how he manages to jump out and escape. This guy flies up to us, and the cameraman with a hammer comes up to greet him. But for some reason, PLUNGERMAN refuses him, and I'll tell you the truth about why it happened a little bit later. So watch this video to the end so you don't miss anything. Okay, Plunger meets our friends for the first time, and he seems to be a little afraid of them. Because let's not forget that all this time the legend was in a completely different series where Skibidi toilets were in the role of the bad guys. And then for the first time he gets into the multiverse where the sides have switched places. And now the Alliance uses toilets while the bad guys have the human bodies. Well, it is clear that Blood is not at ease, but still he understands that these are friends and points his finger at the top and then arms himself with a plunger and flies away. And also at this moment we can see the location very well. At the end of the bridge there is something like an entrance to a bunker, and above it there are huge rocks. And this place really reminds me of the location from the 67th episode of the original series by Boom, where we were in a similar place resembling a desert and where the main base of Skibidi toilets was. Besides, you know that every episode of the Skibidi Multiverse takes place in parallel with the original series, and I'm sure that the Upgrade Center, where the Alliance is heading right now, is the main base from episode 67. And perhaps PLUNGERMAN also understands this, so he decides to get there as soon as possible, because he knows what difficulties camera toilets and the rest will face along the way. And you can ask me how he knows this, but I want to remind you that all the cameramen came from the original series in which all these events have already happened. For example, let's take Cameraman with a hammer. This guy remembers how Titan Speakerman was infected in episode 32 and how many problems appeared because of this. Therefore, with the help of special technologies, he went to this multiverse where all this had not happened yet. And while knowing in advance about the scientist plans to infect Titan, he prevented it. The same thing happens here. PLUNGERMAN remembers that in episode 66, the Alliance was ambushed and many were destroyed. So he decides to fly first and deliver a crushing blow until the skibidimen expect it. Well, I hope you're not way too confused and we can continue. Along the way, the brothers encounter another freak, which this time is embodied in the form of Skibidi Mafia. Hey, you! Find yourself an opponent of equal size! The POV desperately tries to save his comrade and lands several shots, but the dude turns out to be very strong, and yet the third shot knocks Skibidimen off his feet. He gets up again, and this time he is finally destroyed by Titan Cameraman from the future. Thanks, bro. I'm glad to see you. but our holiday is interrupted by several smoke grenades and light and noise, and then several skibidi helicopters appear out of the smoke. But fortunately, they are all easy prey for our Chad, so he destroys these planes one by one, and at this moment, one of the cameraman decides to check what is inside the smoke. Dude, this is a very bad idea! Of course, this was his main mistake, and an infected camera toilet grabs him. Cameraman with a hammer asks the POV not to shoot, and after all, the guys have special anti-parasite guns. With their help, all three get rid of the parasite, and their minds return to them. By the way, didn't you think it was strange that we never saw the parasites themselves? I mean, in the 35th episode of the original series after the cannon was fired, we saw a destroyed parasite that fell to the ground. But in Skibidi Multiverse, this does not happen, and the guys just lose sparks on the camera. Either this is a render error and Skibidi parasites should have fallen from their necks after all, or in this series the infection occurs in some remote way. I do not really know. Okay, suddenly, a mysterious stranger appears on the scene who begins to move from side to side with ultrasonic speed. He flies so fast that it is not even possible to notice him, and at first I thought it was a toilet glitch. But unfortunately I was wrong, and astramen come into play. One of them catches the Titan's projectile and sends it back as like a baseball. The freak starts laughing at our friend, but gets a portion of lead from another Titan who is speakerman. Astroman decides to have a little chat and informs that the time of their battle has not yet come. He catches all the shots, and what is the most interesting is that he manages to catch the third shot with his own hands. And I do not know why, but I like this little detail so much, and it really looks very creative. I also appreciate that no skill clutch adds such things, so I would like you to give some respect to Blood for this. Well, Astro combines 3 projectiles into one, forming a powerful bundle of energy that deals a crushing blow to Titan and knocks him down. And after a couple of seconds, Astro adds that his race will rule this multiverse, and with this epic phrase, their conversation ends, and he and his brother fly off in an unknown direction. The episode ends with both Titans seeming to be in complete shock from what has just happened, and at the very last second we hear the phrase, "It's not over yet." It's time to return to this moment and tell why PLUNGERMAN didn't shake hands with the legend. I think everything is simple here. And now this multiverse is experiencing serious problems due to the fact that cameraman with a hammer intervened in its events when he saved the Titan speaker toilet from infection in episode 18. After all, according to the script of the original series, the Titan was supposed to get infected. But this did not happen, and the canon was broken here. And because of this, the original multiverse is also in danger. And, as you know, several cameramen teleported in here to understand the reason and find the one to blame for this. But it turned out to be too late. And the breaking of the canon allowed the teleportation of not only cameramen, but also Skibidi toilets from the original series, which happened a little bit later. And now imagine yourself in the place of PLUNGERMAN, guys. It's like you are fighting in your own world. You have a real war going on, and then you will find out that the same thing is also happening in another multiverse. And now you are obliged to join yet another battle, which means that the Alliance has in fact twice more enemies and twice more risk of its destruction. And the cameraman with the hammer is to blame for all of this. And that's why Plunger is so not happy to see him at all, because he is the reason why the entire Alliance is forced to risk its original multiverse. And that was all for today. Write your own funny theories in the comments and how many months we should expect a new episode and what will happen there. And that was me, ISO Toilet. See ya!